Welcome back. It's the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and it is time to have a look at the River Murray Netball Association. Pat Brown is our correspondent for this association. She's on the line with me right now to recap the most thrilling round we've had so far this season. How are you, Pat?
I'm good, thanks, Dan. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Eager to hear about these results, and let's start off with what was probably the most significant of the lot. The Ramblers and Mypolonga tying on 47 apiece. Huge finals implications from this one, and at the end of the day, nothing could split them.
No, it was a great game of netball. It seesawed. The crowd got very vocal a number of times through the game. Ramblers did very well considering they sort of gave away a bit of height here and there, but both teams fought for the win, and ironically, neither one of them won. So it was a great game, and all players did their best. There were some great battles, particularly between Nikki DeMichelle and Stacey Smith in at centre. Shooting was a bit dicey for most games last week with the wind and that, and it was a well thought out game, but I think it probably sealed the fate for Ramblers because I don't know that they'll beat Storm tomorrow, so I can't see them battling for fourth. I think it'll be just between Mypo and Manham now, but it would have been a very hectic, panicked game, I think, at times. Good game.
Manham had the bye, and I reckon they come away the winners from that game. Not too often you get a win when you're on the bye, but I reckon the Roos have pulled one off there. I think they would have been very, very happy seeing that result, given the crunch in the middle of the ladder.
Suited them. Yep, very much, because they only play Jervois tomorrow, so...
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll discuss that a little bit more in a moment, but let's get through the rest of this round. We had a top-of-the-table clash. Mallee Storm getting a big win on the road over the Imperials, 47-38, and it really was a big win because they could have fallen out of the top two with a loss, and with the Suns having a big win that we'll talk about in a moment, but a great win by the Storm.
Now, I've spoken to somebody I've known for a long, long time, and they are an Imperials follower. And she told me it is the worst game of netball she's ever seen Imp play.
Wow.
She said none of the combinations gelled, be it in defence or in attack. The centre court was playing a lot slower and a lot less confident than normal. So we all know players can have off games, but it sounds like the entire Imps team had their off game in the one game. Better to get it over and done with before finals, but if these two teams do meet the week after next, Imps are going to have to really step up and come back the team that we know they can be. Storm would have applied so much pressure. They have so much height, so much body strength. Their goalies in Gray and Clough just combined so well. They've played together down in town for a while. And so, Imps, if you can't bring your best game, you're not going to beat the next best team. So let's hope they got it all out of their systems in the one game and they'll come back a better, stronger, more accurate side than last week, and let's hope the win stays away.
Well, I'm sure the Mallee Storm won't be hoping for that, but yes, I'm sure the Imps will be.
Probably won't.
Great win by the Storm, and they are storming into finals in some very good form. Southern Suns are going in with great form as well, 61-20 over Tailem Bend last weekend.
Yeah, look, they had a really great, strong opening. Their players were converting very accurately with their goals, passing into the attacking half was excellent. Taylor Guthrie at goal defence, her vertical jump is absolutely amazing for a girl that gives away a bit of height to most other goalies. But they just didn't let Tailem Bend into the game. At half-time, there was only 14 goals in it. Tailem had 15. For the rest of the game, they only got 5. So I think they've got some issues there. This season, they've come up against some teams that are quite a bit taller than them. And I think it's something they're probably going to have to really look at ready for next year. They would have been disappointed because that was their last game for their season. But they'll learn from it and they'll work hard over the summer months to see what they can do to fix it. But the Suns were on a roll. They know that even going into tomorrow's games, depending on how scores go, if Ramblers, after a draw with Mypo, can get up against Storm, Suns could retake second position on percentage, either from Imperials or Storm, because they're now equal. There's only a 1% dividing them. So it's not over yet. The fall's not settled yet.
No, it is not, and that situation is exactly why the Storm's win over the Imps was so crucial for them to keep their top two hopes well and truly alive.
Yes.
Let's look at the last game of the round. The Coorong Cats, they haven't won since April the 27th, just after Anzac Day, and they are going into the last round on a high. They beat Jervois 39-35 to break a very long losing streak.
Yeah, look, I'm really, really pleased for them because this team impresses me with their sportsmanship and the way that they approach and they relate to their opposition teams. Even when they've been losing, they still acknowledge how good the other team is and everything. For them to win their last game at home, I'm really, really pleased for them. Disappointed for Jervois because they did make a good start to the season, but they just seem to be having a bit of trouble finishing the games off of late. Whether it's the young ones are getting a bit tired with the length of the season or what, I'm not too sure, but I'm so pleased for the Cats. They played really, really well. They worked really hard defensively and just didn't give up when the Jervois challenged back at them. So a 4-goal win. Well done, girls. Congratulations, and I'm glad you finished the season at home on a high.
And once again in that game, I reckon Mannum sitting on the bye would have been pretty happy seeing that result because they play Jervois tomorrow, and if they win, they are almost guaranteed a spot in the finals. They're likely to win, and if they do and Maipalonga lose to the Imperials, Mannum are in.
That's right. Maipo at this stage are just 1 point above. They're going to have a really hard game tomorrow against Imps because Imps aren't going to be happy with last week's scoreline. So they would have worked really, really hard, both physically and psychologically on the game for tomorrow. Mind you, the first time Maipo and Imps played each other, Maipo led for about the first 2.5 quarters. So if they can put a good game together and Imps haven't got over their hiccups, then who knows? But it's hard to see Imps letting it go this close to finals. But if Maipo can't get over them, the chances are Mannum will definitely be in there because I think Mannum are going to be too keen, too energised from last week's draw to let Jervois in.
All right, so we think Mannum are going to beat Jervois. We think Maipo have a big challenge on their hands against the Imperials, and we'll have to wait and see if they're up for it or not. But like you said, Imps still have plenty to play for because the Southern Suns play the Coorong Cats, and if they win, they will jump into the top two if the Imps or the Storm lose. So plenty to play for the Suns, and I dare say the Cats, they probably played their grand final last week getting that win over Jervois, so I don't think they'll pose too much of a challenge here for the Southern Suns.
I think you're right there, Dan, not a problem. If Imps can't get over Maipo and Ramblers by chance beat Storm, the Suns will go minor premiers because their percentage is far above the others. And if they beat Cats tomorrow with a really big score, Imps and Storm aren't going to be able to catch them for percentage. They've got the highest percentage as they sit now. So the games aren't over for any of them. There's 4 games that actually can impact very dramatically on the Final Four. So, nobody's safe at this stage of the game at all. There's still 5 teams fighting for those 4 spots.
Spot on. It's going to be a thrilling final round. All sorts of different scenarios that could play out, but it looks like it's pretty straightforward which 4 teams are going to win this weekend, but given what happened last weekend, I don't think there's any point us trying to predict what's going to happen because it is a wildly unpredictable league. So, Pat, we'll just have to wait and see how it all unfolds this weekend, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you next week and seeing how it does all unfold. Good luck to everyone taking the court this weekend. Pat, enjoy the action. We'll chat next Friday.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Bye.